2 weeks ago, South Park returned with the debut of season 27 to all the aplomb and all the adulation and excitement surrounding the big news about the new, 5-year, $1.5 billion deal to stream exclusively on Paramount, and then they come back with this scathing parody of President Donald Trump, and oh boy, they're all in the headlines and they're just grabbing big attention on that one. And then of course 2 weeks go by and then they come back with another episode, much less fanfare, and they decide to go back to the well once again by again taking shots at the Trump administration. Now, you guys know my positions and I'll just repeat it. I'll give you the cliff notes on this one. Trump supporter, not exactly thrilled with a lot of the stuff I've been seeing in the first year, but I digress. When it comes to South Park, it's been something that has just been bubbling and simmering, rather, culturally for as long as I can remember. It's not something that I ever really sought out to watch, especially back in the early days, and it was never really any of my reference points. It's not something that I actively hate. It's something that I've generally enjoyed whenever I've seen it. I do like the movie. I like some of Trey and Matt's other works. Like, I think Basketball is irreverent and hilarious, and I think that that's the best comedy that they do whenever they do it. So when they decide to do these cringy attacks, like the rejoinder you'll hear from the left is, oh my god, look at, oh, they're taking it to Trump, oh, it's so good. And then on the right, oh, see, at least we can laugh at ourselves. Oh yeah, own the libs by looking like cucks. I don't really care at the end of the day, but when I was doing a little bit of research on this one, I found something very interesting. Okay, very, very interesting. Not from the episode itself. I mean, yeah, cool, you're just gonna go ahead and mock the right for the rest of the season. Good luck maintaining any sort of semblance from the people who would unironically parrot the point that, oh, South Park attacks everybody, they attack both sides. So I find this very interesting because, yeah, you go back to back to open up season 27, you're going so hard against Trump. But again, what was your commentary on Biden? How many episodes on drone strikes did you do with Barack Obama? We know how hard you went on George W. Bush and all of the parodies there within, but even going back to the Clinton administration, you guys were very much around for that one. I'm just wondering where's the equal play on this one? I don't need it. I don't really want it. I don't really think of South Park. But it's in the news. I can see what's happening here. There are dots to connect, so let's do that. South Park portrays Kristi Noem, okay, as a puppy-shooting, face-melting ICE villain. Yes, because this was all about Homeland Security and the ICE raids that were happening earlier this year. And because, well, yeah, okay, the new season is just starting, it makes sense, you know, if you're going to be talking about topical and relevant matters, that, yeah, okay, something that shut down I-5 in Los Angeles. Oh God, when was that? Back in June or something like that? Like, yeah, no, it was definitely June because the dollar store Civil War and World War III just about went down at that point in time. So yeah, you want to spoof on that? Totally fine. It makes a lot of sense, right? Especially if you're going to be talking pop culture and topical issues, but the whole Kristi Noem shooting puppies thing, and again, if you wanted to stay on top of things, that was a big story a couple years back when a memoir and a very public divorce proceedings started to come out. So why not do shit like that then? But I understand you probably had much more pressing things that nobody can really reference anymore. No, you were probably writing that very relevant script about how, hey guys, look at Lucasfilm. They sure are, you know, trying to jam a bunch of women in their projects, and we're making really biting commentary on this 4 years after the last failure movie. Cool, good stuff, really cutting edge. But the other stuff that they would talk about, okay, the other stuff that was in this episode centered around a parody of Cartman, because in the first episode of the season, he had the, woke is dead t-shirt, and he's apparently, like, his arc for this season is going to be dunking on the anti-woke crowd. So yeah, again, just real biting commentary, of course. But, oh, they did Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, cool. One episode. Great stuff. But yeah, taking a shot at Charlie Kirk. That's that's kind of a deep cut. Okay, so that kind of lets you know that they know a lot more than their other contemporaries in the field. And I got to give you credit for that one. And also, the different masculinity supplements that a lot of those grifters like to hawk as well. And then he's also, he's got his Bible to thump there. A lot of relevant and accurate reference points. It's totally cool. Okay, good stuff on that one. You got the script with all of this. Okay, so yeah, South Park just attempted to troll Charlie Kirk with Cartman playing a campus conservative, debating women. And cool, you want to use the joke character to get this out there. Okay, I kind of know what you're doing because I've kind of seen what has happened with The Boys in recent years, and you're trying to make Cartman kind of a Homelander type character. Is that what's going to happen? Or at least that's the way that it's going to resonate with people. Because unlike 2 weeks ago when the premiere episode came out and the White House, the fucking White House of all places, came out with this "I don't care" press release and then would go on to detail how they very much cared about the way that the president was portrayed. That was the dumbest thing that they could have possibly done. And we'll get into exactly the repercussions of that, because the best way that you can handle something like this is Charlie Kirk retweeting a clip. He's going, "Not bad, Cartman," because that immediately diffuses the situation and it defangs it. Because there's two different ways that you can go about addressing this. Okay, you can embrace it like Charlie Kirk did, and then another plot point that was in here. Okay, because they're doing this big, Mar-a-Lago set piece, which is just okay, cool. You want to riff on Epstein Island? Great. You really did have an easy open on this one. Okay, when you were panning around the resort, if you wanted to have other references, because you have little J.D. Vance right there being a tattoo to his captain on Love Island. Okay, you wanted to go ahead with that very timely reference? Go for it. That's fine. But you could have also had, Bill Gates or Bill Clinton in the background. You could have had Stephen Hawking, just doing burnouts in the parking lot. You could have done all that stuff. But no. You needed to have fat rednecks in the background. Again, South Park's great because they attack both sides, guys. But J.D. Vance, I'm seeing this stuff, well, I've finally made it. Because there was a little back and forth earlier this week, because to simply reference the ICE clip from the beginning, okay? The White House or somebody tweeted out a screenshot or a still image of the preview from this episode, and, South Park ran it back and said, "Oh, now we're relevant." So yeah, if you didn't comment it to begin with, nobody would have cared about episode 2. You could have just done this and it just would have came and went, because ultimately that's kind of what happened. Okay, because if we start to take a look at the ratings, there's a very interesting pattern that you're going to see play out right here. So TV ratings, South Park season 27 premiere lands a big audience, a huge audience. Okay, the Trump skewering season 27 opener, even though from the people that watched it, I have heard that was it was a sizable but not the majority plot point of the episode. You had much more commentary on the Paramount situation. The Cartman stuff, had a sizable amount of runtime to the episode as well, but the way that the media, the way that episode was being portrayed was that it was wall-to-wall Trump bashing. So, of course, the opener draws nearly 6 million viewers. That's fantastic business, by the way, on Comedy Central and Paramount Plus over 3 days. Now, I'm really wondering here, had Trump, had the White House, had all of the right, just simply looked at those clips and went, "Oh, okay, cool, South Park's doing whatever South Park's doing, that's totally fine," would it have got those 6 million eyeballs? I'm just wondering. Actually, I don't need to wonder anymore, because we can simply go to the numbers and go, oh, okay, cool. They're doing what everybody else was doing back in 2016. Because you remember, South Park's like this cutting-edge satire show. They're going all political for short-term game. And that's exactly what they got. And it's already, as we've seen with other media properties, other entertainment avenues, we've seen that trajectory now effectively speedrun with South Park. Let's take a look, okay? Because the much-hyped 27th season premiere of South Park brought in a big audience on Comedy Central and Paramount Plus. In the 3 days after its July 23rd premiere, the episode, which among other things depicted President Donald Trump in bed with Satan, garnered 5.9 million cross-platform views, including on-air replays. The season premiere was pushed back 2 weeks from its original date. South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they worked out a massive new deal for Paramount Global that includes the show's library from HBO Max to Paramount Plus and next day streaming of new episodes on Paramount Plus. The later aspect of the deal helped fuel the big tune-in. And this is interesting, right? Because you would wonder, I would imagine, to normies, okay, who would just see a new episode of South Park and go, "Oh, okay, cool, I'll watch that," or just see it on Comedy Central and go, "Okay, cool, it's not one of those cringe, almost stand-up comedians that passes." stand-ups in today's day and age and go, yeah, I'll throw that on or something like that. I got nothing better to do. I'll put it on in the background, put it on second monitor. That's great. I wonder how many people were paying attention to the big payout that Matt and Trey got in the lead up to the season premiere. I wonder how much that played into it. It was a big number, no doubt. $1.5 billion for anything is a big business. And you could say that, yeah, that would have helped somewhat, but would that account for 5.9 million viewers? Well, okay, you also got the Paramount stuff with Stephen Colbert and The Late Show that definitely did break into the mainstream, and then South Park meme on that in the direct aftermath. So yeah, okay, that could kind of make sense, okay, but when you do an apples to apples comparison, a season premiere to season premiere comparison, you have to realize that Trump, man, okay, he needs to, okay, you need to do your refresher course, okay? I don't know how long it's been since you've reviewed it, but you need to reread, 48 Laws of Power. You need to really consult Law 36. One should disdain things they cannot have, as ignoring them is the best form of revenge. You cannot control the way that they will react to you. If they're going to lampoon you, they're going to lampoon you. That's fine. And if anybody brings it up, you just go, oh, okay, cool, South Park's doing that, they're still on the air, that's nice. And then you just move on with your day. If you can't directly control something, if it doesn't directly benefit you, you pay it absolutely no mind. That's what would have happened. It would have came, it would have went, some people would have memed on it, people would have laughed at it, and it would have just went the way of every other South Park thing that has come out in recent years, because comparing season 27's premiere to season 26's premiere, it kind of lets you know a few things, okay? Because South Park drew 430,000 views in its initial airing, less than 10% of the 3-day total. The season 26 premiere had 484,000 viewers for its first airing cross-platform comparisons show. And when you give this stuff, okay, when you give this stuff a couple of weeks to breathe, because we have the overnights for the second episode, and yeah, it was number one on the night, but it got 840,000 viewers. It did a decent 18 to 49 demo, but your prime demographic viewing audience was only 285,000 viewers. It's interesting, right? And so, as the episode just came out on Wednesday, we're not going to have the 3 days until probably Mondays when they're going to end up reporting them. So, if the White House keeps their mouth shut, if J.D. Vance, and it shows right now, you just take a look at his timeline, his social media presence, he's made one post about it, and then he's just gone on with his day. Charlie Kirk's going to do whatever Charlie Kirk does, okay? He's just happy to see himself portrayed without a gummy grin, like a stalker staring in through your front window. He's just happy that he's not depicted like a total freak for once. We'll just see. We'll just see if South Park returns back to normal, okay? It gets those ratings back down to a medium range, and the rest of season 27 might have a couple more Trump jokes, might have a couple of other jabs, but the tide will turn on that one, and it'll go from, oh, look at that, oh, it's so funny, they attack both sides, oh, it's in good fun, and then eventually it becomes, yeah, this is just kind of fucking cringe and pathetic. Don't you guys have other jokes to tell? And then you'll start to listen to some of the people bringing up their concerns from a few months back, going, it's so funny how, the way that South Park is being presented as attacking both sides, but during 2024 they wanted to sit out the election because there was no other jokes to tell about Trump, and then start to really realize that these guys, it's just another partisan hack show that's been running on fumes of nostalgia. They've been eating their own member berries for years. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.